Good afternoon, everybody, and finally I'm going to give you my semi-finished tour of my vintage Bethany Tee Pee Camper. I'm going to take you a little walk around the whole camper just so you can see what it looks like. I had put a video from the previous owners. Oh, they had it decorated so cute. I'm sure I will change my mind 8 million times how I want mine decorated. But this is what I'm going with right now. So that here is what's called the clamshell top. That's all fiberglass, and as you can see, I have not cleaned it yet. And then the bottom section, which has the original colored pink. It's kind of a salmon, light salmony pink, and the emblem still, which is such a treasure. And then the front hitch, and this camper is light enough where you could pull it with like a hand dolly with one strong guy or a couple people. My son's moved this around, so that's kind of nice, so you could tow it with a car. I have the window open just a little bit just to let some breeze through there. And then here's the tent section, which has a couple leaks in it. I got some canvas cleaner that I'm going to use on it before I do some patching on it. And then I also have a over tarp that I will connect to the very top there that will drape down over it for a little extra layer of rainproofness to it. And here under that, you can see there's another teepee emblem there. So I thought, how do I want to decorate it? Do I want to go with a theme? Do I want to go with a period? So I decided to kind of decorate it in the theme of vintage Midwest, with kind of an emphasis on Minnesota, of course, because the Bethany Company was out of Minnesota and produced campers for many, many, many years. And it was originally a Christian group. So if you go to my Facebook page, you can see a little story of the Bethany Camper Company if you want to take a look at that. It's kind of a little read. It's not a video, but so I went with just kind of a outside, and this is a plastic tarp, because if you go with the real stuff, I tell you, if it gets damp or anything, it's a dickens to dry out, and they're heavy. So I went with plastic to kind of play off of the color theme of the camper. And this lovely wash basin was left over from the original owners, so I kept that, and I'll put stuff in it in the camper and use it for water or whatever. And then I went shopping, as I usually do in my own house. See if I can get a picture of this without my shadow and everything. Here we go. And this is from Park Rapids Bottling Works, Park Rapids, Minnesota, which that's where we got our puppy from, our last one, Daisy. So I have that, and just have a little outside, take a little nap area here, and a little vintage table. This is the cornfields around where I live. And now we'll go inside. Like I said, I had opened it up already. Just have some little candles outside, and those aren't vintage, and I probably won't keep them. I just put them out here. So let's go inside. So I kept it with kind of the original color theme. So this is the couch area, and I took off, you can see there's 2 cushions there. I took off one from one area, doubled this up for a seating area, because I'm going to use the end of the camper for a kitchen type area. So I had this pashmina that Dr. Tashin had brought back from one of his trips to either Korea or Thailand, I'm not quite sure, and the colors on it matched the camper, so I put that on the top because there's a white stripe here and it gets kind of dingy. So I just put that on as kind of a cover slash dress it up so it feels more kind of a loungy area. And this is going to be the girls' camper, because me and Christy can take it without having to ask the fellows to help us, because my other vintage camper, as you know, is very heavy. And I have bad, poor driving and maneuvering skills. So that's only taken out when we have help, which is like once or twice a year. And I found these cute little custom pillows, and they're not vintage, but they match the camper. 1K for Christy, and an M for me, because like I said, this can be the gals' camper. And I had some vintage towels that are in the pink tones to go with the camper that I've been hanging on to forever and a day, which match. And my little vintage waste basket, and then I happen to have an old broom dustpan, which isn't vintage, but it went with the color scheme. So Here it is. So that is going to be considered my living room area right there. And then if somebody does sleep overnight, I do have a foam topper to go on the bed here, and if it's stretched out to a single bed on the front end so that will be just white sheets. And then I got these, they're called Indian blankets or Mexican blankets or tourist blankets that went with the color scheme of the inside of the camper. So that kind of a tealy turquoisey greenish color and that salmon pinky-ish color, which matches the inside painted color right there. So the inside's more of a salmon color, outside's more of a pinky color. So then this is the bed area. And I was thinking about it when I did the bed area. I thought everybody puts their heads at the end of the camper like here, and I'm like, oh, I don't want that because then it's right next to the canvas. That will bother me because I'll be thinking all night that somebody's going to come and hit the outside, which they probably wouldn't, but I'd be paranoid about it. So I put the pillows on the other end. So what I chose for bedding was I found this Afghan that was made from a nice grandma. It has the little grandma label on it. And it's kind of that salmony, turquoisey-ish, greenish, tealish color. And then I had this old quilt. And I hadn't used it because back in the day when they quilted, if it was ever washed or anything or dried, what happened is the fluff all came loose and it just balled up in great big clumps. So you have to open it up, pull all the clumps out. I just sewed it back together so it's a coverlet. So I have the Lord, spit it out, the quilt, and then I do have a wool sheet, and then I don't have it on here because I'm just kind of semi-staging it. I have a set of kind of a aqua green floral sheet set with flowers on it. This will be used for the guest pillows, this white one. And then I have the really pretty floral sheet set that I have pictures, I've posted pictures of also, that will go on this side. And also the bed on this side. I wish I could like open the window and let the light in, but this is it. Oh, I guess, I probably could. There's a zipper right here. Okay, let's see if I can do this and talk and tape all at the same time. That would be an amazing skill. And kind of fold it down. There. So you can get really good breezeway through there. So here is the bed area, and like I was saying, what is not on here are the original sheets that are going to go with it, and I also do not have, there'll be a big fluffy fiber down topper, because this is comfortable. I mean, these are very comfortable, but the cushions, but they're very firm. It won't sleep super well, so that will have a topper on it when we take it out. So that is the bed area. So that's a nice double bed, and like I said, this one is a nice single, and I do have foam toppers for it when we use it, which I think will be rarely. And I took, see, this is doubled up, this is doubled up. I took it off of this area, and I decided that this was going to be my kitchen type area. So when we get unloaded and all, this is going to be for setting things, putting things down, putting my dishes, and this is my little wooden folding table. I think I've showed you this before on the first one, but it folds up, very slim. So that's our little table for if it's raining or if we want to eat at it. So I put that in here, and it fits just right. I just love that. And like I said, it's a perfect height. I have another one that I had outside, but it's too low, and it wouldn't be doable. So I'll move this out, hopefully. And I have my vintage pink Melmac and my silver, which is in my other vintage camper, and I split the set up because I was going to get a set for this one. I'm like, I don't need to there. I got plenty for both. My aluminum cup, so it's a reproduction my sister Pat gave me. And then I got these little thermalware coffee mugs, because I got little teeny coffee cups, but they don't hold enough coffee for me. Wear out. And like I said, remember, there's my storage underneath, which is great. And like I said, I'm trying to go with the theme of Midwest or Minnesota, because this is where the camper was made. And so I've got a few things that are from that type of tourism vintagey thing. This ashtray I've held on to. It's a Southwest ashtray, but it's pink and it's cute. I don't think it's really picking up the pink because it's kind of, it's so bright. So it's pink. It's a very light baby pink. And then we were talking about grills and propane and this and that. And I thought, oh, I forgot I had this. It's an electric fry pan. And boy, she gets so hot you could like deep fry in it. So you could deep fry fish. But it would be great for when we want to just heat up something, warm it up even, or make eggs for breakfast. And it's electric fry pan. Because remember, there's no electricity in here. But we will run electrical cord in here with the strip to run that. Here is my, this is funny, vintage Minnesota Indian pottery, but not really. And it is called, oh my lord, if I can pronounce it, is Namaji. Namaji, that's how you pronounce it. See, there's a little emblem on there, Namaji Vintage Minnesota Pottery, but it's not. It's not even an Indian tribe. I think Namaji in Ojibwe or something means something like left-handed. So what it is a company in Minnesota, I think it was in Moose Lake, Minnesota, made this beautiful pottery, called it Namaji Indian pottery, but it was just tourist pottery. It wasn't made from an Indian tribe or anything. There's a whole story, and I just thought it was kind of a cool story just for the fact, beautiful pottery. It was made in, it's vintage, made in Minnesota. The company later on moved out to California, I believe, and they sold it as Indian pottery, and people bought it and they fell for it. So there's kind of, if you wanted just kind of into kind of a neat vintage slash tourism-y type story, look up Namaji Indian pottery and just look at the story, because it's not Indian pottery. And then I'm just using for decorations, I'm using some of these, sorry about the traffic, they're, like I said, it's hard to see the colors in there, but it's a blue hued ball jar, and I bought little candles to go in there, and they're the battery operated candles. Put those in there, and then I got one of those for some silk flowers, and then some vintage cards. There's my vintage some equipment going by on the road. There's my, that was Beverly Guard's coffee pot. She was a lady that I knew from one of my jobs, and she lived up the road, and they had an estate sale, and I was lucky enough to get a bunch of her stuff. And then her coffee pot is in my camper. This was an old vintage Canadian map on, you know, and it's on a towel that my grandma had, which the colors match. You just cannot believe it. So that's in here. A Red Wing pottery ashtray. No, it's not used for an ashtray. And then I think I've showed you some of this before. And then I forgot I had these too. My Land O'Lakes pasteurized processed cheese. So these were boxes that they used to sell the cheese blocks in. So I've got two of those. So I'm using those for decorative things. Our practical water jug, which is kind of from probably the late 70s. And then a beautiful, another little piece of linen that is from, I think it's Barbados, but I just love the colors of it. And it was for my mother, so that came out here. And my little vintage clock. And I have a whole set. This is my bar glassware. And this is Southern Comfort, and it's like the steamboat glassware. There's, you can see it's steamboat or riverboat. And it says SoCo on it, Southern Comfort. And this was like a giveaway glass back in the day for Southern Comfort, I think in the 60s. I have a whole set of that, which just goes beautifully with the camper. And a few more of my little kitschy Minnesota items. Paul Bunyan in Bemidji. My Paul Bunyan that I know was from Brainerd. And I got this salt and pepper shakers from Brainerd. That's the one I always went to when I was little. My little radio, which does work. So when we have to take this out, we'll run an electrical cord in. We'll just kind of put it behind there, run it up, have a power strip. That way we're able to run our radio or lamp and our coffee pot and our electric fry pan. And that's all we'll really need. And then I'll look at this beautiful one. You can see my beautiful coleus over there. Oh Lord, they're just beautiful this year. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do with it. So like I said, here is my little youthful kitchen slash prep slash drink slash cocktail area there. So that's along the, it would be the front of the camper, but the back end when you walk into it. So the front hitch is right out there. So, and this beautiful thing opens up even more, as you can see. And the cooler, of course, isn't vintage, but it was small, compact, cute, and we'll use that for keeping light snacks, water cold, that type of stuff in here. And that was an angle cooler, which I thought was so cute, and got it pretty reasonably off Amazon. So that's pretty much all I'm going to do, because my goal is always to try to keep it simple. Everything that I have in here I want to be packable in the camper, so that when we travel we don't have to have 8 million totes that are loaded in our vehicle that we have to unload. I want it all to be in here and accessible. So the only thing that won't be kept in here would be my little porta potty tent and that fits in a laundry basket. That will be kept in the back of my car for when we're at places that we're not close enough to the potty that we want to set it up. And it's a little pop-up green tent with one of those little portable commodes that you put in it, so it will be outside. You could put it in here, but we can go outside and use it. So and I love it that there's a window on this side, the doorway, a little window on that side, and you can see there's some like repairs, and just the way my summer was, which was very crazy. I didn't get a lot of like repairs and stuff done with this. What I'll do is, my plan is before the end of the winter is to clean up what I can, patch what I can see that needs to be patched, and then waterproof it on the outside, and then we'll pack it up and we'll take it somewhere where it's stored, covered up, so the snow won't get on it. And then when spring comes, then I'll kind of go gung-ho trying to do a few more little projects in it. But I'm going to keep this as original as I can. I don't want to change the whole feel of it when you walk in. I want it to have that vintage vibe to it. Like I said, I try to keep things as vintage as I can, but like I said, two things that I always buck on is the fact that, you know, like I have a vintage whisk room in my other camper, but then this is nice and small and compact, and it matches, so I'm okay with that. I'm not such a diehard that I'm going to give up some conveniences. And the fact that I'm using these little storage totes, that I have them in here, and of course remember this is all storage under here. It's all storage cabinets. So I'll just give you one last little turn around the camper without me being in there and cluttering it up. So as I come in my door, my left is my little living room area, and we'll pan around, and then the back, which is the front of the camper, is going to be my kitchen / bar utilitarian area back there. Of course, my little table, and we'll move that around and fold it up if it's in the way. My back little bed stand, which is way in the back corner, and then my little bedding area. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed my little mini tour of my Bethany Tee Pee Camper circa 1965 to 1967 or thereabouts. So thanks for coming over, thanks for the visit, and I can't wait till we can officially take this out. Next year, unfortunately, because of everything this year, we're not able to, but for next year, for sure, me and Christy will be taking this out on little adventures and trips and enjoying her. She's been my little dream to have one of these for so many years. Thanks for coming over and sharing her with me. Until we guys see you again, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.